Now at 5, one person is injured in an early morning house fire in Joplin. Plus, construction is underway on a new clinic in Pittsburgh for children with autism. And
WNBA star Brittany Griner is back on U.S. soil following nearly 10 months in a Russian prison. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the latest on the swap and why calls to free another U.S. detainee from Russia are growing louder.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The fire department battled an early morning house fire that left one person injured. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The fire started around 5:30 this morning in a home at 832 South Pennsylvania. Fire officials sounded 2 alarms to combat the blaze. Around 8, Joplin Public Works began taking down part of the house to expose any hidden hotspots. One person inside the home was injured as he was escaping. He was taken to the hospital. No word on the cause of that fire. Miami, Oklahoma police have a new tool and training for de-escalating threats without lethal force. The department now has pepper ball launchers and pellets. 15 officers were trained on how to use the launchers. Officials say they'll help save lives. A groundbreaking ceremony today celebrates construction of a new clinic in Pittsburgh for children with autism. It's a project by the nonprofit group Integrated Behavioral Technologies, or IBT, in conjunction with Sunshine Childcare.
Well, we were really blessed that IBT was a part of the process. The last couple of years with our back to school event, we saw a major need of autistic kids coming through, and we knew the need was here. And we were just blessed with the opportunity to find the partner to come along.
The nearly 2,400 square foot facility is scheduled to open early next year. Could serve up to 30 families. IBT hopes surrounding communities and cities will reach out to obtain services. Let's check in with Sam Lane for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It's been a beautiful day for most of the day. A little bit on the chilly start, but radar is clear right now, and that's pretty good news. But that's going to be changing as well. Temperatures this morning were quite cool across the area, generally in the 30s, even some 20s showing up, like 29 in Parsons this morning. But this afternoon, the sunshine helped out with the temperatures, with generally everyone making it into the 40s and even some 50s down to the south. Right now, we're looking at lower 40s across our area. The winds have not been that bad either, generally out of the north and west, generally around 5 to 10 miles an hour at the most. And then we're going to be looking at some rain coming into our forecast, and that's good because we still have a drought in effect from southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. A few areas not so bad, like over in Berry County, they've had plenty of rain. A little bit look down the lane, here's a look what we can expect. Cold rain tonight, but we do expect to warm up early next week, and then a severe threat as we go into Tuesday, and a cold snap ahead as well. So a little bit of a roller coaster, Dow.
See you soon. Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona says she switched her registration to independent. But the first-time senator also says she does not plan to caucus with Republicans, and that will ensure Democrats retain their narrow voting majority in the Senate. She writes in a newspaper column that she's, quote, declaring my independence from the broken partisan system in Washington. Sinema joins 2 other independents in the Senate, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Angus King of Maine, both of whom caucus with the Democrats. Brittany Griner is back on U.S. soil after being released from Russia in a prisoner swap. Griner had been sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison camp after being accused of traveling with vape canisters with cannabis oil. But as Skyler Henry reports from the White House, the controversial deal left an American behind.
Brittany Griner arrived in San Antonio, Texas Friday morning, ending the American basketball star's nearly 10-month ordeal.
Brittany Griner arrived at Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston, Texas earlier today and was taken to Brooke Army Medical Center for routine evaluation. We are now focused on ensuring that Brittany and her family's well-being are prioritized.
The 2-time Olympic gold medalist was arrested in Moscow in February on a drug possession charge. She was exchanged in a prisoner swap for notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. He was serving a 25-year sentence on charges he conspired to sell tens of millions of dollars in weapons that U.S. officials said were to be used against Americans.
We just sent the message out that it is good business to have an American citizen in your back pocket for that day you need a bargaining chip.
Meanwhile, former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan remains jailed in Russia after the Biden administration's efforts to also free him failed.
It was either Brittany or no one. That was the option that we were given.
President Biden has promised to keep working on Whelan's release.
The president will never give up.
The hostile, weak foreign nations taking Americans prisoner and holding them as hostages. This has to stop, and my brother needs to come home.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said the prisoner swap involved compromises, but that more trades are possible in the future. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
U.S. officials say Griner will be offered specialized medical services and counseling after her experience in Russia. Still ahead, getting last-minute holiday savings.
It's not too late to catch big holiday deals. I'm Jared Hill with the specific dates retail experts say you can save money.
And next in Health Watch, singer Celine Dion's recent diagnosis is spreading awareness of so-called stiff person syndrome. Topping today's Health Watch, the FDA has authorized updated COVID booster vaccines for children as young as 6 months old. The shots contain components from both the original strain of the virus and from the currently circulating Omicron variant. A new study finds breast cancer patients who interrupted their treatment to try to get pregnant had about the same 3-year rate of cancer reoccurrence as women who did not pause their treatment. Researchers at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute say most of the study participants were able to conceive and more than 60% gave birth. Celine Dion is shining a light on a rare neurological disorder known as stiff person syndrome. The superstar announced she's been diagnosed with that condition. Reporter Elise Preston explains what it is and who it affects.
I've been dealing with problems with my health for a long time.
With bluntness and emotion, Celine Dion announced on Instagram Thursday that she is postponing her concert tour after being diagnosed with stiff person syndrome. She explained that the extremely rare neurological disorder is causing her spasms that affect every aspect of her life.
Sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I'm used to.
According to the National Organization for Rare Disorders, stiff person syndrome is believed to be an autoimmune disorder that is characterized by muscular rigidity that occurs along with muscle spasms. One estimate says it affects 1 in a million people.
Things like walking can become more problematic. Patients can have balance issues. In some situations, it can also affect a patient's speech and their coordination.
The severity and progression of stiff person syndrome can vary from person to person. Symptoms may remain stable for many years or slowly worsen. In some cases, symptoms can be stabilized with medication.
This tends to be a little bit more of a chronic, kind of always present condition, though there might be sort of situations in a day, for example, where they could worsen or improve.
Dion says she's working with a team of doctors and therapists to get better, and she says she hopes to be back with her fans soon. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Stiff person syndrome is more prevalent in women than in men, according to the National Organization for Rare Disorders. Usually becomes apparent sometime between 30 and 60 years of age. For those who don't enjoy exercising much, well, new research finds just 3 or 4 minute long bursts of physical activity a day can drastically prolong your life. Researchers in Australia found that the short periods of exertion, such as running for the bus or briefly power walking, are associated with a 40% reduction in the risk of premature death. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why the FTC is suing to stop a merger of video game industry giants.
And Well, we started out chilly, but the sun helped out this afternoon with temperatures warming into the 40s, around 50 degrees in a few locations. So it didn't feel too bad out there, but we're going to see some changes as we head towards the weekend. Taking a look outside right now on I-44 at Lander Chevrolet, you can see the clouds starting to increase again from the south and west. You can see just a few of those clouds out there, and we're going to see those clouds increase as we move through the evening hours and into tomorrow morning, especially with the rain across our area. Today in Joplin, we made it up to 50 degrees, which was pretty close to the normals of 49. The low this morning was 35, which is a little bit above normal at 30 degrees. And look at that goose egg back in 1995, so it can get quite chilly this time of year. Radar is clear right now, nothing really going on, but that's going to be changing as we go through time, especially down in Oklahoma. And overnight, we'll start to see the rain moving in from the south and west across our area, pretty good bet. Temperatures right now are not that bad. Generally in the 40s right now, 44 in Joplin, 43 in Lamar, 42 in Nevada. A little bit warmer down to the south in Bella Vista and Jay with temperatures in the 50s. Now we are colder now than we were 24 hours ago, about 10 degrees colder this afternoon with the clouds not really moving into our area, but the temperatures were down because the winds were out of the north and west today. And we're going to see that continue through the evening hours. 44 right now in Joplin, feels like 40, dew point's 36, and the humidity at 73% looking at our Skyland or our Skycam on Rangeline. Here's the radar across our region. Notice this big area of showers and storms down in southwestern Oklahoma, northeast Texas. This is moving towards the north and east, and as it does so, it's going to fill in, and we'll start to see the rain move in. In fact, here's your forecast for tonight. Generally lows in the 40s with the rain through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. So if you're heading out to a lot of the Christmas parades, I think they're going to be okay in southeastern Kansas. Might still see some showers off towards the east though around parade time. But by afternoon, all that moves off to the east and we'll see northerly winds and highs in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. Maybe some breaks in the clouds, especially up in southeastern Kansas. Then as we go through Saturday night into Sunday, the clouds kind of move back in with lows in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. And then as we go through Sunday afternoon, the clouds will break up with temperatures generally in the 50s, some mid-50s like Parsons with 54, close to 60 down in Veneta with 57, same thing in Chelsea. Meanwhile, cooler up towards the north. Then as we go through Monday morning, we'll see southeasterly winds and maybe a spotty shower or two in southeastern Kansas and Oklahoma with lows in the 40s. And the winds are really going to pick up on Monday as we move towards the next storm system. Over the next 36 hours, we're going to have basically 100% chance of rain from the hours around 2 a.m. to about 5 a.m. Then the rain chances really starts to decrease as we go through the afternoon hours. All right, let's take a look at how much rain. Most of the heaviest rain is going to be down to the south where they could pick up an inch or so down in Benton County and also in Mays County, lighter amounts up towards the north. Over the weekend, we're going to see this storm system move over us tonight, but then as we go through Sunday, our attention is going to be moving back towards the west with this monster of a storm that's going to be moving into the west coast, and that is going to move into our area as we go into Tuesday, and that could mean some severe weather. Then over the next 8 to 14 days, a cold wave is going to take over the country, and that combined with precipitation, you know what that means? A chance of winter-like precipitation is in our forecast. So let's take a look at it. Over the next 7 days, 51 tomorrow with rain in the morning, and then 56 on Sunday, 62 on Monday with breezy conditions, and then storms on Tuesday, Dow, and some of those could be strong to severe, and of course we'll keep an eye on that for you. Then it turns colder on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and maybe even a few snow flurries on Thursday morning. So how about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. Thanks, Sam. There's a race to save manatees in Florida. With winter approaching, Florida's manatees are heading to warmer waters. But that's also where they're facing a life-threatening habitat collapse. Experts say poor water quality has devastated the seagrass supply. Wildlife officials have been dumping lettuce into the area as a supplementary food supply, though greater steps will need to be taken to restore the lagoons. Coming up, a look at the best days to get last-minute holiday deals. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Ronald Elias served in the U.S. Army in 1969 and 1970. The Coffeyville, Kansas native was stationed in Vietnam and received a Bronze Star, and we salute Sergeant Ronald Elias, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Federal Trade Commission is suing to block Microsoft's acquisition of video game company Activision Blizzard. The $69 billion deal would make Microsoft the third largest video game publisher in the world. The FTC's complaint says if the deal went through, Microsoft would hold too much power in the industry. Microsoft argues the deal would actually create more opportunities for gamers and developers. Some welcome relief at the pump. Gas prices are now lower than they were a year ago. This time last year, the national average for a gallon of regular was $3.33. Today, slightly below that, according to AAA, well below that around here. Industry watchers say we can thank slower consumer demand worldwide for the price drop. The clock is ticking for holiday shoppers. If you missed out on those Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, well, experts say, don't worry, it's not too late. Reporter Jared Hill has a look at some specific dates to keep in mind.
'Tis the season to be saving, or at least trying to. How much of your shopping list is done?
Actually, just getting started.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday are known for blockbuster deals.
I didn't do any of the Cyber Monday stuff that everybody told me, all the deals that they were getting, and I totally felt like I missed out.
A lot of people kind of have this fear of missing out.
But Kyle James from Rather Be Shopping says, depending on what's on your list.
There's actually some days in December where you can actually get better deals than you can on Black Friday.
After tracking December deals for nearly 2 decades, here's what he found. On December 10th, expect discounts on laptops and toys. The 12th through the 15th are good for sales on video games and consoles. December 14th is the day many retailers offer free shipping by Christmas Eve, often with deals on clothes, shoes, and kitchen items. There are ways to save on top of the discounts. Many retailers offer coupon codes online that you can use at checkout.
Retail Me Not, they have a really good app. When you're checking out, always try and find that coupon to add on top of it.
James says many stores continue to cut prices right up to Christmas, so waiting could be worth it. But the hottest toys and video games could sell out.
You find it at a good price, you probably want to snatch it up. Because if you wait, you might end up having to go on eBay and spending way more than you should.
Not ideal, with inflation already pushing prices higher than last holiday season. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Now, if you're looking for a new TV and you can wait until after the holidays, James says you can find good deals around late January and early February, especially if you want something on the higher end. According to Forbes magazine, billionaire Tesla and Twitter CEO Elon Musk is no longer the world's richest person. The #1 spot on Forbes' list of real-time billionaires is now occupied by Bernard Arnault, the CEO of French luxury brand LVMH. LVMH is the company behind Louis Vuitton, luxury goods, and Hennessy Cognac. Realtor.com is out with a list of the hottest housing markets for 2023, and mid-sized cities in the South and Midwest are winning. Places like Hartford, Connecticut, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Louisville, Kentucky could become among the nation's hottest housing markets. Home sales are predicted to grow in those cities by more than 8% next year. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an exclusive interview with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Then on KOAM News at 6, why some Southwest Missouri colleges are banning the use of recreational marijuana, even though it is now legal in the state. Plus, a local church gets in the holiday spirit by giving gifts to some Joplin students. And the NCAA releases a report detailing infractions by the Missouri Southern football program. We're going to break the report down and look at the punishment. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. For a lot of people, the holiday season is a time to treat ourselves, maybe indulge in all things sweet. Well, Wise Voter, a bipartisan educational platform, dug up some data on America's favorite Christmas treats and found this year it's going to be kind of a cheesy one. The results show a majority of U.S. states, including Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, favor cheesecake as their top Christmas treat. That's followed by sugar cookies with 17 states, including Missouri, claiming that chewy and sugary confection. Hot chocolate appears to be a top favorite across much of the country as well, making the list for most states in the top 5 favorites. It all sounds good to me.
Exactly. I'm like, how can you pick a favorite out of that?
Exactly. I'll take one of each, please.
Absolutely.
Weather not looking so
Not
good.
looking so good tonight with the rain moving in, and it's going to be a chilly rain at that with lows in the 40s and rain across the area. Then on Saturday afternoon, the rain should be ending. A little bit better on Sunday and then milder Tuesday with a big chance of storms on Tuesday. Some of those storms could be strong to severe. We'll keep an eye on it. And then look at that, a chance of snow flurries on Thursday morning, but mainly up towards the north.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.